2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright.
CNN is never, ever going to let this woman back on air. Up first, I went to bed at like 10:30, so I didn't wait up and watch the New Year's Eve coverage. But if you did, if you watched on CNN, you would have seen something rather unexpected because a comedian they had on went absolutely rogue, stunning Anderson Cooper and the other CNN host, and honestly, saying some truth bombs that I think will mean she's most certainly not going to be invited back on the network anytime soon. Some of the jokes that the comedian, Whitney Cummings is her name, made are just kind of politically incorrect. Like, I found this one funny that she said about the WNBA.
2024 totally broke our brains. Half the people I know think we're in a simulation. I'm starting to wonder. When I go to a website and it asks me if I'm a robot or not, half the time I get the quiz wrong. I'm like, does the shadow of a bike count as a bike? I don't know. Why am I looking at a grainy photo of a crack house? We just all broke mentally this year. Things got so bleak, we started watching the WNBA. What happened?
I do think the fact that even a liberal-leaning comedian like this would make a joke like this on CNN tells you a little bit of something about how maybe the culture is shifting a little bit and we're not so sensitive and so cancel culture intensive that you maybe can finally joke about issues related to sex and gender again without getting screeched at or having a Twitter mob come after you. But it's the political part of Whitney Cummings' set that really, I think, made some waves, left the other people on air on CNN absolutely silent. Here's the political part of what Whitney Cummings said on CNN last night, New Year's Eve, where I thought she dropped some truth bombs that I was not expecting to ever hear acknowledged on CNN, of all places.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
This one had me gagged. Obviously, the setting here is not great for like comedic timing. She's got no audience. She's got all this noise in the background. But what she said is actually really funny, that they couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding up a dead body. I mean, it's funny, but it's true. Biden was cooked and they went through this massive cover-up effort of trying to make sure nobody realized it rather than just actually acknowledging it and having a primary to elect a different candidate. And I love how she wasn't sure if they were still rolling. Like, are they going to cut away to her? I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked if they did, but it helps that it was live. Whenever you go into this kind of setting like CNN, you got to make sure it's live so they can't slice and dice it or edit you out if you cross their taboos, which she certainly did.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God, Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
She ate, I fear. One, the pro-choice thing is funny, and I mean, obviously the Democratic Party is a private institution. It doesn't have to have an election to select its candidates. It's allowed to do what it did and just put Kamala up, but it is ironic from the people who constantly preach and moan about democracy and how they believe in democracy and the will of the people to the fact that they totally usurped any sort of democratic process and just installed a candidate. Yeah, that is ironic. And it was kind of funny. But the real funny part of this was when she says Pfizer and Moderna, obviously making a jab at vaccine mandates. But what's so funny about that is if you watch cable news, you will have noticed that some of the most regular advertisers on there are pharma companies like Pfizer, like Moderna, and that's what she's hinting at there, and what clearly made the CNN hosts extremely uncomfortable. It just, chef's kiss from her on that one.
We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on Establishment Media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Okay, why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
Am I still streaming?
Yes.
This is amazing.
I wasn't expecting that to be said on CNN in 2024. But there's a first time for everything, I guess. The Saudi Arabia one actually did have me gagged. I'm not gonna lie. That one was funny to me. But she certainly does raise some interesting questions that wouldn't normally get aired on CNN. She also directly roasted the network in another bit from another segment she was in that I want to show you because it was funny.
I love going around the country because you see that Americans really are more reasonable than they would be portrayed.
Absolutely,
they're pretty great, and I'm
true.
playing bigger and bigger venues now. I thought being a mom would mean that less people would want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
Which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
Well,
Not
nice.
this show, though.
Nice.
Yeah, Whitney's not getting invited back. She used CNN's probably highest rated time of the entire year. Tons of people tune in on New Year's Eve to watch these guys, Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen, I think, watch them do their New Year's Eve thing and get super drunk, of course, on camera. But normally, in normal times, CNN's ratings are plummeting. It is a fact. They are not doing well. People are tuning out because they're sick of the bias. They feel misled by a lot of the coverage. Even many liberals and Democrats are tuning out because they feel like CNN wasn't honest with them about Biden's mental state, about Kamala's strength as a candidate, and so much more. But she went on CNN and pointed that out. And I mean, kudos to you, girl. You got some balls on you to look Anderson Cooper in the face and just roast him and his network like that. But yeah, Whitney Cummings, I think she did amazing. I think it was really funny. It's really tough to try to do jokes or comedy in that kind of environment. And I'm very impressed that she pulled it off and dropped banger after banger like this. And honestly, it's just the kind of thing I wish we would see more in mainstream media and in journalism. Unexpected twists, guests who aren't just gonna say prepackaged talking points and who might actually be unpredictable, because that's the worst thing about mainstream media these days. It's not that it's liberal, it's not that it's biased, though I wish they were more transparent and would just wear their bias on their sleeve like many other places do, like I do. But the real thing about it that I can't forgive is that it's so incredibly boring and predictable. And that's just not good television, not interesting media. And once in a while, somebody like Whitney Cummings comes around and reminds us what media actually should be. Unpredictable, relevant, and thought-provoking. But what did you guys think of this set and this moment from CNN? Do let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet.